And I want to say, first off, I want to congratulate you two for making it. You guys have been through a lot. You've had to put up with school. You've had to put up with your parents all these years. You've got to put up with waking up really early. You've survived your kind of awkward phases, like junior high, how awkward that really was. And here you are now at Senior Sunday. And I guess I'll go ahead and tell you why I'm here right now talking to you two. And I'm still actually trying to figure that one out right now. But about a month ago, Paul texted me, and I think I was in class. It was a really boring lecture, which you'll come to realize most of your lectures will be very boring. But he sent me a text. He said, "Hey Thomas, are you going to be home this summer?" And I said, "Well, I'm taking summer classes, so I'll probably only be home about a week or two, probably not that long enough." And he's like, "Well, hey, May 20th is Senior Sunday, and I want you to give, I guess, the sermon or testimony." And before I text back, I just sit back and think, like, why did Paul want me to do this? I mean, he couldn't find like a really good speaker and kind of motivate you guys, all that. But sorry guys, you're stuck with me. And I guess he figured that since I survived a year of college that I'm a veteran or something. And I have all those wise words. But, you know, I sat down, I said, okay, I'll do this. And I kind of sat down and started thinking of what I should talk about. And to be honest, like a true college kid, there was some procrastination in this little speech. And it's going to be a plague that you will have to deal with in college. Procrastination, man. But I sat down trying to think of some wise words, and then I kind of remembered about a year ago, I was in the same position as you. I was at Senior Sunday. You know, I had no clue what the future held for me. And I was like, yeah, I'm going off to college, it's going to be awesome, and stuff like this. And I was lucky that there was a wise person for me there, too, to give me some advice. And his name is Jay Newberry. I don't see him out here right now, but one thing that Jay told us before we left is he said college is like a triangle, and there are three things in college. There's sleep, your social life, and then there's studying. The only problem is you can only choose two. So I don't know which two you're going to choose, but think about it and choose wisely, because that's very true about college. And then I started thinking of some other like wise words to think of and stuff like that. And I came up with a few, but I realized that it's all kind of very trivial stuff. I mean, you're going to go off to college and you're going to figure out something, you're going to learn, and you're going to understand like your own kind of idea of what college is. But I just had to think, well, what should I talk about instead of like, I guess, wise words? And so I thought I'd do something a little bit more personal in a way. And I thought, well, I'm going to tell them what my first year of college was like. I guess I'll give them my testimony in a way and kind of give you guys an idea of like what happened at UT. So, you know, as you can tell, I go to the University of Texas, look 'em. And when I graduated from high school, I had a very specific idea of what college was going to be like. We've all seen the movies of college. I know a lot of you have seen Animal House and stuff like that. That's kind of the idea. I mean, when you go into college, that's the idea you have. And when I first got to college, it was kind of weird because it was like going from a small little puddle to like a big ocean. And that didn't bother me so much in a way, but the thing is out of that little pond, only a few little fishies went to the big ocean. And so I didn't really know anybody going to college. And I don't know how it is going to be for you two, but the first week of college is going to be very difficult because you're not going to know anybody, at least I didn't. And my roommate hadn't moved in yet, so I was just kind of chilling in the dorm for like 3 days, just by myself. And it was just kind of like, man, this sucks. But classes started, and I'm in a thing called a FIG, which is like a freshman interest group, and they kind of get a lot of kids, like a couple of kids from the same age as you, and they kind of throw you all into one room, and you get to meet each other, and you do like these dumb little team exercises and stuff. But that's how I met all my engineering friends doing that. And we all hung out for the first about a week or two, and one of them was like, hey Thomas, me and a couple of friends are meeting at my apartment this weekend, you should come and join us. And I was like, all right, cool, because I didn't know what I was doing. It's like, yeah, cool. So I'm going to end the story there. Don't think anything really crazy happened. I didn't wake up in a ditch somewhere. It's nothing like that. But if you want to hear the story, feel free to come talk to me about it. There's going to be an age limit on this story. So, you know, if you're above like 25, sorry guys. Because we all, you don't have to hear it. And we all know you all did crazier stuff than us when you were younger. But don't worry, it's not that crazy. but now's not the time and place to talk about it. So I remember when I got home, I was thinking, you know, this was what college is like, but I don't know if this is something I want. Like, it wasn't, I guess, as fulfilling to me as what they made it seem like. And so I kind of sat there and talked about it. And around that time, I was going to the Wesley, which is a student ministry on campus. There's plenty of student ministries. If I had one recommendation, I'd suggest joining one. And, you know, Chad told us about the Wesley, I think, at our senior Sunday. And I was like, okay, I'll think about it. I know my mom talked about, like, hey, you know, you need to go, and stuff like that. And I was like, well, we'll see how it goes. And I walked across their booth one day, and they're like, hey, man, you want some free candy? I was like, yeah. And they kind of drew me in from there. So I've been going to that ever since. But the first semester, I signed up for freshman guys Bible study. And it is a small group of guys, and let's just say we're a group. And the main topic that semester was being men of God, in a way. And I guess for you, women of God, I mean, we'll go from there. But, you know, I kind of thought about it. I was like, you know what? I've got this. If you don't know, I went to church all my life. I've done 30 hours so many times. I have enough 30-hour family shirts to wear one every week. I've gone to UM Army. You know, I thought I had it. I was like, okay, I got this. And it wasn't then I realized that this kind of pride, almost in a way, consumed me. You know, I kind of had the idea of like, oh, I'm like some religious, like awesome BA kind of guy. And BA does not mean Bachelor of Arts for those who don't know. But I remember one week we started talking about being men of God, and I can't really remember exactly what we were talking about. You know, it was really good stuff. I honestly cannot remember. All I remember is that it was hitting a lot of raw nerves with me. It was striking a lot of chords. But the one thing I do remember is we read this verse, and it's from John. John chapter 14, verse 15. It says, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments." And at that moment, I guess right there in my life, that first semester, is when I felt like I got hit by a train. Because I had to go, I remember going back to my dorm, and I had a lot of homework I had to do that night, and I ended up getting it done. It was like 6 in the morning when I got done. But I had to go home, and I had to like lay down and kind of think for a bit. It was like one of those, once in a life you have to reevaluate how you lived in your life. And, I had this idea, I was like, oh yeah, I was a man of God. But then I was thinking like, everything that I've done this past, in my life, was I really being a man of God? Was I glorifying God through everything I did? Or in a way, was I glorifying myself? I guess, and it really bothered me because I didn't realize, well, was I doing this stuff so everybody think, oh, that's Thomas, he's the good Christian kid, this and that. But was that what I was striving for instead of actually glorifying God? And so it really did bother me, and it ate me up a lot. So I went to one of the guys that led the Bible study group. And I was like, I kind of laid it all out. I was like, hey, listen, this is what I'm going through. This is how it is. And one of them sat me down, and he's like, well, hey, I'm going to tell you this. It's no offense to you or anything, but this is what I see. It's like, well, Thomas, you grew up, in a really small town, and everybody went to church every Sunday. It was kind of like, the norm in a way. And the thing is you may have gotten so caught up in doing the norm and being like the socially acceptable that you forgot the true meaning behind all of that. The true meaning of why you went to church every Sunday, or why you did 30-hour payment, or why you did all that stuff. And of course, right there, I'm going to stop that story right there because it's like right there was just a very life-changing moment. So if I can say one thing is that God has been doing two things in my life over this past year. One of them is, and this is probably the most painful thing ever, is that He's revealed kind of all the idols I've ever had for myself. Now I know you may think like idols like a golden cow or something. No, more like pride or just anything that will separate you from having a closer relationship with God. God has revealed those in my life through other people, through community. And one by one, He has been destroying them. And it is so painful to go through. And I'll get to that in a little bit. And then another thing in my life is, in a way, God has kind of wooed and kind of pursued me to have more of a closer relationship with Him. And I guess you're probably like, what is that exactly? But I guess when I came to college, I thought of God as like, okay, He loves me. I pray to Him every night, and like if I need something or like and I need help or whatever, I pray to Him. But it's a much more than that. I think I guess a good analogy to put it is think about having like a boyfriend or girlfriend in a way, and think of all the time and commitment that it goes into making that a good, healthy relationship. Like communication and stuff like that. And I want you to think, okay, if God was my boyfriend or girlfriend, would He have broken up with me already? And that was something I had to think about with, having a closer relationship with Him. So seniors, I don't know what God's going to reveal to you in your life this coming up here, or, in the future. I mean, it's unique with everybody. But before you go off to college, there's one thing I want to tell you, and it's something that I wish I had a better understanding of or grasp, because it would have made this semester a whole lot less painful. But God has put you on this earth for one reason, and one reason only, and that's to glorify Him.